Hi everyone, my name is Tilamani. Today I'll be sharing my critical reflection on learning experience titled Enjoying the Vegetable Garden. This reflection is based on the Connecting with Practice video series. I am to critically evaluate how this learning experience supported children's development, engagement and well-being in relations to listen to the Early Years Learning Framework version 2.0 ACD 2022. The National Quality Standard CCQA 2024 and the Education and Care Service National Regulation 2023. Throughout this reflection, I will discuss how the children engaged with learning, what learning outcomes were achieved, how the experience could be extended, and what I as an educator learned from this process. I will also consider how reflective practice informs continuous improvement and professional growth. So, further context and overview of learning experience in the Enjoying Vegetable Garden video, children participate in hands-on garden experience within their early learning environment. The educators facilitate children's involvement in planting, watering, observing plant growth, and discussing how vegetables growth are used in meal. The intention behind the learning experience is to foster children's connection to nature, encourage sustainable practices, and promote curiosity about where food comes from. These goals are strongly aligned with the UILF version 2.0 learning outcome 2, that where children are connected with contribute to their world, and learning outcome 3, which highlights that children have a strong sense of well-being. HED 2022. This experience also linked closely with quality area number 1 of the National Quality Standard, which emphasize educational programs and practice that enhance children's learning and development. From my observation, this activity provides as a rich play-based inquiry-driven opportunity for the children to explore scientific concept practices, fine motor skills, and develop environmental awareness. Children reflection on their own learning. One of the most powerful aspects of the vegetable garden experience is how children reflect on their own learning. They demonstrate pride and ownership when observing plant growth or sharing their knowledge with peers. For example, children may comment, "Look, my tomato is growing," or "We need to plant the plants every day so they don't dry." Such remarks illustrate metacognition, children thinking about their own learning process, which supports outcome 4.0, where children develop disposition for learning such as curiosity, confidence, and persistence. HED 2022. The educator's role in the phase is crucial by using open-ended questions like, "What do you think will happen if we give the plant more sunlight?" Educators prompt children to think critically and articulate their understanding. This aligns with the UILF practice of intentional teaching and supports the principle of high expectations and equity. In a spoken reflection, I will highlight how the children's comment how so genuine reflection and intrinsic motivation. They are not just participating, they are meaningfully connecting with the process of growing and nurturing life. Engagement and learning. Children's engagement in the learning experience was deeply authentic. Gardening activates multiple domains of learning: cognitive, physical, social, and emotional. From a cognitive perspective, children engage in early scientific inquiry by exploring cause and effect, understanding that plants need sunlight, soil, and water to thrive. This connects directly to outcome 4.2. which states that children develop a range of skills and processes such as problem solving, inquiry, experimentation, and research. EDU433. Physically, gardening strengthens fine motor and gross motor development as a child. Children dig soil, transfer seedling, and use small tools. These actions relate to outcome 3.2, supporting physical well-being. Socially and emotionally, the collaborative nature of gardening promotes teamwork, passion, and respect for living things. This reflects outcome 1.4, where children learn to interact in relations to others with kids, empathy, and respect. The educator's observation and documentation of this engagement are vital. According to the Education and Care Services National Regulation 74, educators must assess and evaluate each child's well-being, development, and learning. Through careful observation, educator can identify progress toward outcomes and plan meaningful extension. Evidence of learning outcomes achieved here. To determine whether learning outcomes were achieved, educators rely on both observation and children's self-expression. For example, a child who recognizes that plants need consistent watering demonstrates outcome 2.4. Understanding the impact on the environment. Another child who reminds peers to share the watering can displays social and emotional learning aligned with outcome 1.4. Photographs and anecdotal notes and reflective journals serves as documentation that evidence learning progress. When reviewing these, I noticed patterns of increased responsibility and cooperative play. This demonstrates how the UILF's assessment for learning approach guides ongoing planning cycles. Educators use their insights to adjust experiences, a process that connects directly to the reflective practices principle of the UILF and QS element 1.3.2, which requires critical reflection to inform future planning. Evaluation: what worked well and why. Reflecting critically, several aspects of the vegetable garden experience were particularly effective. First, the learning environment was engaging, offering sensory stimulation, textures of soil, scents of herbs, visual growth changes, which captivated children's attention. According to NQ's quality area 3 on the physical environment, such sensory spaces support exploration and active learning. Second, the educator demonstrated strong intentional teaching by scaffolding learning and posing reflective questions that educators foster children's problem-solving skills and autonomy. This aligns with the UILF practice of learning through play and assessment for learning, EDU433. Third, the experience honored children's agency. They made choices about which seeds to plant and how to care for them. Agency is a central concept of UILF version 2.0, where children are seen as active participants in the learning. Finally, the integration of sustainability education was powerful. Gardening encourages respect for the natural world and connected to the families and community practices, reflecting the UILF principle of partnerships with families and communities. So there is some areas for the improvement. What could be done differently? While the experience was largely successful, reflection also highlights areas for further growth. One challenge note was ensure equitable participation. Some children were highly engaged while others remained passive observer. In future, I will implement a rotational participation plan or smaller group sessions to ensure every child has an active role. Additionally, opportunities to the explicit literacy and numeracy link could be enhanced. Another improvement area involved cultural responsiveness. To align with the UIL principle of cultural competence, educators could invite families to share traditional gardening practices or recipes. Finally, I will reflect on the sustainability of material use, ensuring the garden tools, pots, and environment friendly and safe, meeting the National Regulation 1.23 regarding premises and equipment safety. So further extending the learning. To extend the learning further, I would plan ongoing projects that define children's connection to sustainability and healthy living. For instance, children could maintain a garden journal with photos and simple drawings, tracking plant growth and weather pattern. This integrates literacy and scientific inquiry. A cooking experience using harvested vegetables would connect the garden to the practical life skill and well-being. To encourage cross-circular learning, we might incorporate art, creating leaf prints of planting pots, and storytelling, where children invent stories about their garden plants. These creative extensions reflect outcome 5.3. Inviting families or communities gardeners to participate would strengthen community connection and align with outcome 2.2. Finally, linking this ongoing project to the broader sustainability initiatives like composting and recycling garden waste could reinforce ecological responsibility consistent with outcome 2.4. So linking to the UILF version 2.0 and QS and national law. The enjoying vegetable garden experience align strongly with multiple framework. UILF version 2.0 principle. Secure principles of respectful and reciprocal relationships, partnership with families, high expectation and equity, respect for diversity, ongoing learning and reflective practice. UILF version 2.0 practices, holistic, integrated and inclusive approaches, learning through play, intentional teaching, cultural responsible, assessment for learning, learning environments, UILF version 2.0, learning's outcome. Outcome 1, children have strong sense of identity. Outcome 2, children are connected with and contribute to their world. Outcome 3, children have a strong sense of well-being. Outcome 4, children are confident and involved learning. Outcome 5, children are effective communicators. And keywords quality area. Quality area number 1, educational program and practices. Number 3, quality area number 2, physical environment. Number 5, relationship with children. Collaborative partnerships with families and communicators. 7, governments and leadership, national law and regulation. Section 51, service approval condition related to the educational program. 73, educational program documentation, assessment and evaluation of children's learning. Regulation 1.103, premises, further and equipment safety. By exploiting connecting the experience to this framework, educators ensure their practice remains compliant, intentional and quality driven. Critical reflection teaching philosophy. As I reflect on my own teaching philosophy, I recognize that I view children as capable, curious, and competent learners. I believe learning is most powerful when children engage in real-world, meaningful contexts. The gardening experience reaffirmed this philosophy. It is not just an activity but a journey of exploration, responsibility, and discovery. In reflecting critically, I also acknowledge the importance of educating disposition, being patient, observant, and responsive allows learning to unfold naturally. This philosophy aligns with the UILF version 2.0 image of the child as an active participant and co-construction of knowledge, EDU433. Professional learning and collaboration. Critical reflection is not complete without considering how I can collaborate with colleagues and engage in ongoing professional learning. Sharing observations from the vegetable and gardening experience with my team would open dialogue about sustainability, education, and inclusive practice. Through team reflection, meeting we could evaluate which strategies work best and how to adapt them across the rooms of age group. Participating in professional learning workshops such as those offered by the Early Childhood Australia and Environmental Education would enhance my pedagogical knowledge and confidence in designing similar experience. Additionally, peer feedbacks during our recorded reflection allows collective growth. As an educator, we model lifelong learning by engaging in reflective conversation aligned with NQ's element 7.2.3. Development of professional and fostered through continuous improvement and reflection. Summary and key insight. In summary, enjoying the vegetable garden is a highly effective learning experience that nurtures child's holistic development. It fosters curiosity, collaboration, responsibility, and respect for nature. Through critical reflection, I illustrate that the activity successfully achieved multiple UIL version 2.0 outcome, particular outcome 2, 3, and 4. Intentional teaching in child ensure a strong contributing factor. Opportunity change exists to the enhanced quality. Future planning can include extended sustainability projects and deeper community engagement. Ultimately, critical reflection is not a conclusion but a beginning, a chance to reinvent our practice and continue evolving as educator. At the end, thank you for the listening. Thank you for listening my reflection and enjoying the vegetable garden. Through this process, I have deepened my understanding of how thoughtful planning, meaningful interaction, and continuous reflection contribute to children's lifelong learning journeys. As an educator, our gardens of practice flourish when we nurture them with curiosity and collaboration and care. So finally, I have added some references. AP 7th edition is some references. Thank you so much.